the cloud. All righty. How you doing, folks? Ron Raymond here from the Raymond Report with our co-host and good friend Ross Benjamin. How you doing, Ross?
All good, Ron. All good. A day in the books, huh?
One in the books. One in the books. And you know what? Now we got a full slate of games here today, Ross. And I want to thank the audience who are visiting us on our YouTube channel and are coming to the website. Good day yesterday with the selections. We had the Yankees. And now today, Ross, we got a full slate of games. And if people want to get in touch with us or if they want to listen to the show, they can listen to us here on atsstats.com, on the OSGA YouTube channel, anywhere you download your podcast. And Ross, we're going to have some free picks here today. But before we get going, where can people get in touch with you?
Well, my website is rbwins.com. R is in Ross, B is in Benjamin, WINS.com. And they could also go to atsstats.com, where I'm giving out my picks as well. Same picks. I don't change anything. Whatever I have up at my site, it's going to be up at Ron's site. So either place, folks, it doesn't matter. I mean, I just assume because this is Ron's show that you purchase from me at atsstats.com. That would be great.
Awesome. Now, Ross, we did some NFL preview shows there prior to last show. We did about 7 of them, I think. And people can get those NFL previews. And, NFL's training camps, a few days away, 4 days, the 28th, the vets show up. And we did a nice series of division previews, which you can get here on atsstats.com or on our YouTube channels. But during those preview shows, you talked about it and they were talking about it at the conference I was at last week with the online conference at SBC about the COVID-19, and it played an effect last night, didn't it?
Oh boy, yes it did. Example, because it directly affected me, I brought this up to Ron earlier, and I says, a good time to discuss this. For example, yesterday I gave out a free selection on the under in the Dodgers and Giants game. And it was based on the starting pitching matchup of Clayton Kershaw and Johnny Cueto. Well, now the sports books, whether it be in Las Vegas or legalized in the United States or offshore, are now no longer accepting listed pitchers as an option. You're stuck with the bet once you make it. Okay, Clayton Kershaw, early evening, gets scratched because of a bad back. The total goes from 8 to 9.5. Well, when I gave out the free pick in the morning, it was at 8. So if somebody put it in when I gave it to them, they lost. If somebody didn't see my video until early last night, they won because it went to 9.5. So these are the kinds of things that we're going to encounter. Another example, last night, I did have the Yankees. I had them at minus 132. But Ron, right after I put the pick up for sale, it was brought to everybody's attention. Juan Soto, the star for the Washington Nationals, tested positive for the coronavirus. Exactly what me and you discussed, a nightmare situation for a handicapper. And that line went from 132 to 168. So in this case, that line movement helped me because I got it at a lower number. Even though the Yankees won, it didn't matter. But some people may have not purchased it from me until later in the evening and probably were hesitant because of the price, and hey, here's Ross. He's telling me he never gives out a big favorite. And I'm looking at this. He's got it at 132. Here's at 168. Some things are just out of our control, Ron.
Yeah, you big chalk eater, Ross Benjamin.
I'm no kid. You know what I mean?
yeah. But
one of those guys that goes 6-4 and says he's 60%, and all of the picks were at minus 180. That's me.
And and the thing is, once that came out and it affected the players, because now they're subconsciously everybody's thinking, oh no, I was near him in the dressing room, do I have it now?
Oh yeah.
And so that plays a big impact on the line, the players. The Yankees, Stanton there had a nice blast in the first at bat. So
another point, Ryan, if I can.
Yeah.
Okay, before I lose my train of thought. I
sure.
apologize for interjecting like that, but the Yankees game was 4-1 after 5 innings. The Yankees had first and third in the top of the 6th with 1 out, and the game got stopped because of torrential downpour, and it ended up being canceled. And I just mentioned this to you yesterday. Be sure you know what sports book you're dealing with or sports books you're dealing with, and know the rules, because Major League Baseball, as applies to the sports books, have made some changes. Number one, I just mentioned the listed pitcher options no longer are accepted. And number two, a book like Bookmaker, now games in Major League Baseball have to go 8.5 or 9 innings before they become official. Everywhere else, it's protocol, 4.5, 5, or 4.5 or 5 innings. So if you put the bet in at Bookmaker with the Yankees, you ended up getting that pick washed out. Everywhere else, you won. So, another COVID-19 thing, Ron.
Yeah, and I keep talking about the law of average, and the law of average worked out for me again last night. I had the Red Sox the night before against Boston. They were losing 2-0 in the fourth, and they got rained out. So I got my money back. That was a nice. And then last night they gave it right back. The Yankees were winning. So hey, it is what it is. You're right.
I always say, Ron, and we've been doing this a long time. The bad breaks, the miscellaneous stuff that are rare that come up that cost you, we always remember that, but we don't remember the situations like we just alluded to with the Yankees game that benefited us, right?
Yeah.
So those kind of things even out. They do over the long run. It's when you're the decisive wins against the decisive losses. You want to have the ledger where you're getting more decisive wins than decisive losses.
Exactly. So Ross, prior to the show, we talked about the naming our segments, and for Major League Baseball, I thought we're going to name this segment here the 6-4-3 double play segment, and at the end of the show we'll have 2 plays. So there's that 6-4-3 double play, and hopefully it cashes some nice winners for our audience and our users and visitors here at the Rain Report at ATSstats.com.
Who's the pivot man at second? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. Who's the Jeter? We got to get Jeter involved here somehow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Back in the day, though, I'll tell you, Tony Fernandez.
He was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Turning from second. That like underhand flip, and
him and
Alomar
so
were fluid. Alomar too. Robbie Alomar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Canadian angle here. I'm throwing.
But you know what? You'd be hard pressed to come up with 2 guys who turned it better from second base. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Oh no, I agree. All right, Ross. So we're gonna jump right in here. Major League Baseball, and we're gonna start every segment when we start our podcast, our daily podcast. We're gonna call this the Market Watch. And basically, folks, what we're gonna do each and every day is we talk about. Do you see this, Ross? The website.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start the day off and knowing, and you say it all the time. Think like a bookmaker. And I love that saying, because if you think like a fan, then you're in trouble, because you got to think like a bookmaker. And we wake up and I go to the website, and then this is the first page I go to on my website, and I go see the market, what has come in the day before, what's coming in on the 3-day average, the 7-day average. And this will be a great chart once we get more games in the system. And we had 1 game last night. So as you can see right here, Ross, I have the 1-day, 3-day, 7-day average, the 1-month average, and it tells us what kind of market we're in. And the bookmakers see this, and they know, okay, a lot of favorites coming in. So you know what, I got to start lowering the number, or start making it more attractive so that they bet the other side, right? They want to balance action. They don't want to see all green or all red, because they want to see yellow. And if you look at our chart here, Ross, so what I call a bull market is anytime the favorites are in, like, say, 57.2 to 100%, I call that a bull market. If we're in a 42.8 to 57.1, now that's the perfect market for us and the bookmaker, because I call that a fair market value, and it has a psychological effect on the betting, the perception reality that we keep talking about. And then the 0 to 42.7, we call that a bear market. And that's the contrarian way of thinking. And people, they won't touch those picks, right? Because anything that's bear, meaning 6, 7, 8 game losing streak, or the favorites are just crushing it. And then if you look at the bottom here, we track everything from a daily to monthly. So yesterday, the two favorites came in and the two unders. So right now, obviously, with only two occurrences, we're in a favorite market and under market. So, the over is something that the bookmaker probably wants today. Because they don't want a trend of unders to go up all the time and favorites come up all the time, and they'll lose their ass if they do that, right?
Oh yeah, and it speaks to thinking like a bookmaker, just what you just alluded to, and this is a great chart because I could tell you this: the novice people or the guys who are recreational bettors that come home from work at 5 o'clock at night and a game doesn't start to 7, that's exactly what they're looking at. Oh, okay, the Yankees have gone over the total 7 times in a row, and they're playing the Blue Jays, who's gone over the total in their last 4 games, so I'm going over the total. Well, if it was that easy, we'd all be rich, okay? Yeah. And if you see that, the bookmakers do as well. Now, they also have to take into account who's pitching and try to give out an honest line, but they're going to adjust the line, if not with the number itself, with the money line odds, okay? And what I mean by that, Ron, is if they're seeing that and you would call that a bullish, or what would you call that? Is that bullish or bear?
What's that?
What's that? I'm sorry?
So the favors come in, you said?
No, the overs are coming in.
Oh, if the overs coming in, it's the bullish market for the.
Okay, so
it's a bullish market for the overs.
So it's a bullish market for the overs in that particular matchup. They may not move the number because of the starting pitching matchup from 7 to 7.5, but they'll open at 7, but make the over at -130, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So okay, you want to just go by. Both teams are going over during the past week. Well, you're going to pay a price for that. Or they, if they start getting early action on it, they'll move it to 7.5 eventually. But yeah, I think this is a great chart, and people should really take a good look at this.
And you bring a great point, Ross. People, they come home, they lose track of, say they haven't followed the games in a couple of days. They have no clue that the over is like 5-0 in the Yankees' last 5 games. So being in tune with the market, knowing what the bookmakers need, this is like my CNBC type thing,
Yeah.
So right here, Ross, we're going to jump right into the computer picks, and I love this little feature we have here at ATS, and we're going to do this every day. We're going to come on here, we're going to talk about what the computer likes. We'll see what the night before, see what what the computer is telling us, and looking at this right now, Braves and the Mets. We got Soroka and DeGrom. The computer is all over Atlanta here, 4.87 to 3.38. The over-under at 8.25. So it does like it to go over the total of the computer. This will be my free pick that I'm going to give out at the end of the show here today, Ross. I'm going to tease the audience here. I'm going to say it's not. I don't know if it's a side or a total here, but you'll have to watch to the end to find out. All right. So the next game, we got Detroit against the Reds. Now, Sonny Gray is going to get the nod here for the Reds going up against Matthew Boyd of the Tigers. Computer likes an upset here, Ross. It likes Detroit 4.5 to 3.81 with the over-under at 8.31. The only thing that the computer probably knows but doesn't take an effect here, that Sonny Gray, 12-3 straight up last year at home. So, the perception, and we talked about this in off-air, there's that perception versus reality. And right now, like you listen to Major League Network, you listen to people talking on radio and TV, they love the Reds right now. Everybody's talking about the Reds. And to me, when I see that, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, I didn't know that because I picked the Reds as a sleeper yesterday on the show. So
yeah, but that's where I'm talking about the perception reality and being in tune with the market. And the bookmakers know all this, and then they adjust that in their line, right? So
yeah, I might want to check that because I think Matthew Boyd might have. There's a pitching change in Detroit if I saw it last night correctly.
Okay.
But anyway,
good to know.
You're just
Ross.
making a point on perception reality there.
Yeah, well, if Matthew Boyd does go, according to my numbers here, he was 9-8 straight up on the road last year.
Yeah.
And Sonny Gray here, let me see. 5-12 straight up on the road, 9-8 to the over, and he's 1-1 lifetime against the Tigers. So could be a good one. This year,
that Sonny Gray was 1-1 lifetime.
Oh no, Matthew Boyd. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, no, Sonny Gray last year was 12-3 straight up at home, 5-9-1 to the under. This to me, Ross, is going to be a great game. This American League East this year is going to be so exciting to watch those games. The only thing is the Red Sox. To me, there's still a question mark. I don't like that starting rotation that they have. But looking at this, the computer is all over Charlie Morton. Charlie Morton and the Rays are one of my top plays. I mentioned that yesterday to win. 3.64, 2.6, and Hyun-Jin
It's a
Ryu.
nice pickup. Go ahead, Ron. I'm sorry, but it's a nice pickup, Hyun-Jin Ryu for Toronto, coming off a fantastic year for the Dodgers last year.
Well, he started. You remember, he started on fire. Then I think he cooled down a bit. Maybe a tired arm there at the end. But you know what? Let's see how he does as the guy. You know, he doesn't have Kershaw ahead of him. He doesn't have Walker Buehler ahead of him. So let's see if he can handle that pressure of being that opening day starter for the Blue Jays. But you know, I'm going to lean with the computer here. I think Tampa Bay Jays always have trouble against the Rays down in the Clearwater. So we'll see at Tropicana Field.
I like a lean on the under there, if it for sake of opinion. Yep.
Okay, duly noted, buddy. We're going to go right here to Citizens Bank today, and Joe Girardi getting his debut. You know what? Watching him play the Yankees the other night, you just see the fire. Like, he's got that military brush cut, and you want to fight with the guy. I think he's just I love his competitive spirit. But the computer, Sandy Alcantara getting the nod here for the Marlins, 7.17, 4.73. I'm doing my homework here this morning. I'm leaning with the Marlins here. I love Alcantara. Aaron Nola, not a great home record last year. Looking at 10-10 straight up at home, 10-7-3 to the under, and the under for Alcantara on the road last year, Ross, 4-10-3 to the under. I think Marlins, if you're looking for a nice
big line move there too, Ron. You see the Marlins go from they dropped about 25 or 30 cents the last I looked.
Well, there you go. Folks, if you're listening to the first time, you're listening to the Raymond Report with Ross Benjamin. This is the 643 double play segment today, and you can get our top plays each and every day right here at atsstats.com. I know my buddy Ross will have has his top play in, and I got a 3-game pick back, which you can get right now just by going into our website. All right, moving along, Ross. We got Kansas City against the Cleveland Indians. Now, the big chalk here on the Indians, minus 195, the over-under 8.5. Computer leaning with Cleveland here, 5.77 to 3.22. And every time I hear this name, I think of the Simpsons Duff Beer. Danny Duffy going for the Royals, and he's up against the Shane Bieber.
Yeah, Justin Bieber.
Bieber.
Yeah. You know what? It's going to be a long year for Kansas City if Danny Duffy's their ace. That's all I could say.
Yeah. The over, 5-0 for Bieber against the Royals lifetime. So maybe the total is something you want to consider right there. Moving along to Wrigley Field. It's going to be a shame seeing no fans there in the bleachers. And I love watching Wrigley, games. They're all going back to Harry Carey. Call it cow. And it's just gonna miss those the fans, and it's really weird watching baseball now, but you know what, I get it, and we're making the best out of this, right, Ross?
Yeah. I mean, look, at any baseball's better than no baseball. To me, I mean, I'm a little selfish. It doesn't matter to me if there's fans or not. You know what I mean? As long as they're playing the game. If that's what it takes, well, of course I would love to see fans, but if that's what it takes, Ron, to play the games, so be it.
Yeah, exactly. So the Cubbies are minus 112 favorite today against the Brew Crew. 8.5 is the over-under, and the computer leaning with the Brew Crew here, 3.99 to 3.39, over-under at 7.38. Guess the wind is blowing in today at Wrigley, 8.5 was the over-under, I think.
Couple pitching notes here. Kyle Hendricks, the starter for the Cubs today. Yep. 14 starts at Wrigley Field last year, a 2.04 ERA and 0.87 whip. So he was tremendous at home last year. Also, 6 starts in the month of July last year and a 2.25 ERA. So some positive trends there for Kyle Hendricks and the Cubs. And Brandon Woodruff, the starter for the Milwaukee Brewers. Since 2017, he's made 3 starts against the Cubs, Ron, a 7.10 ERA and a 1.74 whip. So it would seem that the starting pitching matchup anyway, would favor the Cubs in this game.
I agree, Ross. And the thing is that if both these guys can get 7 innings out of them, Hendricks facing the Brewers lifetime. The over under is where is it here? I had it a second ago. 2-7-1 lifetime against the Brew Crew to the under. So yeah, you know what? Game 1, there's no trends to worry about. So the under might be worth a look here today at Wrigley. Moving along, we got Baltimore taking on the Bull Sox here at Fenway Park. Minus 210 price here, Ross, over under. Now it's fluctuating out there. It says 9.5, but I've seen a lot of 10s out there. Tommy Maloney going for the Orioles up against Nathan Eovaldi. Now, that's not Seaver against Clemens type thing, but you know what? The computer pick liking the Boston Red Sox 5.55, 3.4, and the over/under to land on 8.95. So it does like the total to go under the total.
If Nathan, again, I like Nathan Eovaldi. I think on a real good team, he'd be a nice 3rd or 4th option. But it speaks to our discussion about our question marks about Boston's starting pitching rotation when he's your opening day pitcher. And the same thing for Baltimore. Tommy Malone is much traveled. He's a guy that you could place in a 3 or 4 hole in your starting rotation and you're okay with it. But again, an opening day starter, that's a stretch.
Yeah, and if Eovaldi, here's Maloney, 4-0-1 to the over against the Red Sox lifetime. So
yeah,
this is gonna be a tough one here.
Ron, explain to the listeners what that generated from 87 previous games. It seems to change on every matchup we've looked at. What exactly does that entail?
Yeah, so basically what the computer does, and we set up the algorithms, is that go and look in the past. Every time that Boston's been a minus 210 favorite, the over/under is at 9.5. And eventually, once we have a game, another parameter in the system, like say coming off a win, it'll go get 87 of those previous games, and then we mix it up in the old computer, and then it spits out our prediction. Okay. So yeah, so it's the occurrences that involving these exact situations today from the past. And then we see if we can.
So the more occurrences, the stronger to play.
Absolutely. Moving on to Colorado against the Texas Rangers. Now, Lance Lynn getting the nod here for the Rangers going up against German Marquez of Colorado. Now, bookmaker has this pretty even here. At minus 105 and 9.5 is the over/under. And you know what? Lance Lynn, I'm telling you, this guy here last year, he was one of those pitchers I just kept following. And 10-5 straight up at home, 3-11-1 to the under at home. I think Texas here might be worth. And they got a new barn, right? They got a new stadium.
Yeah.
So, the only 330 previous matches, but computer likes Colorado as an upset here. 5.31, 4.37. The over/under land on 9.68. So Minnesota, Chicago White Sox. Now Lucas Giolito, man, going up against Jose Barrios. Giolito last year, Ross, he had a tremendous, I think it was month of May and early June when he won like 9 games in a row for the White Sox. But then he cooled off, right?
Yeah.
He really, reality probably sunk in. And now the computer here is leaning with the Sox here, 3.63 to 2. And the over-under line on 5.63. So according to our, and only 6 previous games that were generated from this. So not a lot of occurrences, but it does like a low-scoring game.
Yeah, well, Jose Barrios, 14 career starts versus the White Sox. All of them have transpired since 2016, Ron. And in those 14 starts, a dominating 2.40 ERA and 1.01 WHIP. In Minnesota, in those starts with Barrios against the White Sox, have gone 12-2 in those 14 games. And then you look at Giolito, you just touched upon, he got off to a great start. The month of July last year is when we started to see a downturn as Giolito went 0-3 in 5 starts in July last year with a lofty 5.65 ERA.
Yeah, so should be a good one today at Guaranteed Rate Field. Hopefully it's still called guaranteed rate field. I don't know. These fields change so much. I thought I saw a different
It
name.
is
It is
guaranteed.
okay.
Yeah.
The Pirates going up against the Cardinals. Now, the computer sees a low-scoring game, minus 164 for the Cardinals, sending Jack Flaherty to the mound. And Joe Musgrove toned the rubber here for the Pirates. And as you can see, Ross, the computer likes the Bucks here, 2.5 to 1.63, over/under to land at 4.13. So it likes the low-scoring game between the Bucks and the Cardinals.
I have a free pick on this at the end of the show, so let's move on.
Right on. We got Houston taking on the Seattle Mariners. Now, I don't know if you watched there was a preseason game. Altuve just kept getting plunked there for like 2-3 times in a row. I wonder if we're
There's a
going to
little
start
after effect there, Ron. Huh?
Yeah, a little
From
plunk ball coming.
Yeah, exactly. All the malarkey that happened that Houston pulled, you know, and Jose Altuve, he's a little bit rambunctious, so he's going to catch a little bit of the heat there for Houston.
Yeah. So today at Minute Maid, Ross, we have a 9:10 first pitch, and the bookmakers got a huge price here on Justin Verlander at minus 260, over/under at 8. The computer all over the Mariners here is an upset, 6.9, 5.25, the over/under at 12.15. And this, you know what, Ross, I wonder if there'll be any, you know, we always say there's a Super Bowl hangover. I wonder if there's a World Series hangover for Houston in a COVID era.
Well, the one good thing that Houston has working for them is they would have took a lot of they would have been booed hastily in every visiting ballpark this year based on the cheating scandal. And they're not going to have to deal with that. Houston, a great home team the last 2 years. You know, I don't know. I hate to test the computer here, but I think they're wrong on this one. But
I think you're right.
I'm not willing to lay that kind of price on Houston either.
No, and here's the nail in the coffin. Marco Gonzalez, 0-6 straight up against Houston lifetime. So I think the computer better go back and check his algorithms. All right, moving along, we got Arizona taking on Chris Paddock and the San Diego Padres. Should be a great one here tonight at Petco Park. You got minus 142 for the Padres, over/under set at 8. Computer all over the Arizona Diamondbacks here, 3.84. 3.23, the over/under at 7.07. You know, this just in, it's going to be one of my pick packs here, Ross. I got Love. I have an absolutely strong play. In fact, it's one of my top plays here in my pick pack today, which you can get right here at atsstats.com, including with Ross Benjamin's picks. And Ross, I don't know, what do you think about this game?
You know what? Chris Paddock, a very underrated starting pitcher. Obviously, another perception versus reality here. Better known pitcher, Madison Bumgarner, for all his postseason heroics with the Giants during their 3 World Series championship campaigns. A very tough matchup here. I could see this being a lower scoring game, but you never know. I don't really have a strong opinion, but it's a nice starting pitching matchup. Yeah,
the only caution I'm going to put here, Ross, is that Madison Bumgarner last year on the road, the over 10-4-1.
Yeah, I mean, you look at his numbers last year, Ron.
Yep.
And as compared to the rest of his career, he had a down year.
Okay.
So you have to wonder, is he starting to burn out a little bit?
Yeah, and change of scenery might do him some good. We'll see. San Francisco taking on the Dodgers. You know, I had Cueto last night. It was one of my underdog specials. You know, he looked good for 5 innings. They had a lead until the 5th or 6th inning, and then the wheels came off, and you know, it wasn't a great night. And you know, that pitching change came in to help me a bit with that selection. But you know, prior to the game, you know, you subconsciously you feel better knowing you're not facing Kershaw and you're getting that underdog money. But you know what, Cueto wasn't the reason why they lost last night. He gave his team a chance to win, and now today, minus 274 the Dodgers, over/under at 8. Computer going right back to the LA team here, 4.18, 3.36, the over/under at 7.54.
Yeah, Ross Stripling, a very good young pitcher for the Dodgers. Last night they started the rookie Dustin May, and he didn't let him down. Jeff Samardzija, topsy-turvy, Ron. I'll say he just reminds me, the first word that comes to my mind when I talk about him, his name comes up, I should say, is inconsistency.
Yeah, and Samardzija last year, 11-5 straight up on the road, so not a bad road record for Samardzija. And we're going to close it off here, Ross, with the Oakland Athletics taking on the LA Angels. minus 142 price here on the A's, and over under at 8.5. The forecast here loves the by a hair the LA Angels 5.32, 5.29. The over under at 10.61. Now Frankie Montas going to get the nod here for the A's. He had an 80-game suspension last year. He did come back for one game, but looking at Montas here, 6-1 straight up at home last year, 3-1 lifetime against the Angels. It could be an interesting game here tonight.
Big line move here too. The A's went from like 120 minus 125 to minus 142, if I recall.
So there you go, Ross. 30 minutes in the books. We were pretty much right there. And folks, again, we're going to give our free picks here. This is a 6-4-3 double play, and I'm going to kick it off. My top play here today, Ross, my free play, is going to be the Atlanta Braves at 4:10 first pitch. Mike Soroka going for the Atlanta Braves, and he's up against Jacob deGrom. Now, deGrom, hey, we all know he's the ace of that staff. He's a great pitcher, but only 3-7 straight up against the Braves in his last 10. And for Soroka, 3-1 against the Mets. Anytime you give me an ace pitcher like Soroka at a dog money, it's almost like a fundamental can't break my rule type play, right? I got to go with my wallet here, and I'm going to take the Atlanta Braves minus plus 135 today, Ross. That's my free play. And again, folks, if you're interested in my 3-game pick pack, all you got to do is visit us here at atsstats.com and go to our shopping cart area. In fact, I'll just give you a little scroll down right here, and I'll show you where my plays are. If you go right here, there's Frankie right there, and you just click on Ron Raymond right here, and I'll have my 3-game pick pack, which you can just add to your cart. And Ross Benjamin, what about you, sir?
Yes. First of all, my pick is going to be in the Atlanta and the Mets game. That's my paid selection. Okay, I have a winning total in that game. And here's what I'm going to tell you, folks. You buy that pick at atsstats.com today, you get a week of free service on top of that pick you get today. Ron will give you an extra week beyond today's game. So can't get much better than that. It's our July special, and it's our way of getting you in the door and showing you what we could do for you. In terms of my free pick, I'm going to look at the Pittsburgh and St. Louis game. I will have a free pick video on Ron's site a little later this afternoon, and I'm just going to hit the bullet points here. If you want a more detailed analysis, you can view that video. But Joe Musgrove, 1-6 career against St. Louis. All of those starts have occurred since 2018, and in those 7 starts, a hefty 0.05 ERA. As a matter of fact, 0-4 versus the Cardinals last year with a 10.00 ERA. 3 career starts at St. Louis. Musgrove 0-3, 10.38 ERA. And you go to St. Louis and you look at their starting pitcher, Jack Flaherty, coming off a terrific year, around 33 starts, 2.75 ERA and 0.97 whip. And even better than that, at home in 16 starts at 2.37 and 0.78. 7 career starts versus the Pittsburgh Pirates, all since 2018, and an outstanding 1.84 ERA and 0.93 whip. And St. Louis last year, 14-5 against Pittsburgh, including 10-1 in the last 11, and 9 of those 10 wins came by 2 runs or more. I know St. Louis is a big play or a big favorite at minus 178. So I'm going to turn to the run line here, Ron. I'm going to take the St. Louis Cardinals minus 1.5 runs at money line odds of plus 105 over the Pittsburgh Pirates.
All righty. So there you have it, 6-4-3 double play. And man, that was a great show today, Ross.
It was.
Yeah, I think this is a great format that we have here. And folks, again, if you're new to the Raymond Report with Ross Benjamin, you can visit us each and every day on our YouTube channel or anywhere you download your favorite podcast, either Apple's iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Twitter, I think it's called, or Stitcher. Twitter. I try to say Twitter and Stitcher are the same thing.
A combination of Twitter and Stitcher.
Hey?
If you have any suggestions, something you would like to hear on the show, future shows, be sure to email us. That's Ron Raymond at Rogers.com, and also benjaminsports@yahoo.com.
Yeah, and we'll be back on our next show here on Monday. And for Ross Benjamin, I'm Ron Raymond. Have yourself a great weekend, folks. As always, shop for value, play those percentages, and we'll see you back here shortly with another Raymond Report.